Hello, planet Earth. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. We're at IDK, my BFF Jill 730. I'm Preston Young, wishing you warm salutations and congratulations, you've made your way to the Buffington Post. So, as I said in my last episode, today we are going to be tackling Buffy the Vampire Slayer Season 8, Tales of the Vampires. This one is called The Thrill. Tales of the Vampires is kind of a standalone Dark Horse series that went on between the show. I think they actually released some while the show was going on, until the canonical Season 8 premiered. And so, this is a nice throwback to the old comics. The art style is just like the old Tales of the Vampire stories. Keep in mind, vampires are the cool new thing. That's why we're going down this road with Tales of the Vampires. Like I said, this is an unnumbered issue. There will be 2 other unnumbered issues coming up. You don't necessarily have to have these when you're going through and collecting your Season 8, but I would highly recommend that you get it. It's going to put a lot of context into the world for you. Also, keep in mind, vampires are the cool new thing. Harmony has this reality show. She's outed vampires to the whole world. The public at large has reacted pretty favorably to vampires. They just say that they're misunderstood. They don't actually kill people. They just have to bite people for a little bit of blood, and they're all cool and glamorous and sexy. And, you know, they live forever and stay young. So, yeah, with this, Slayers are public enemy number 1. We found out that people don't really like Slayers. They see them as the enemy. And this whole Season 8 is kind of about taking power away from women. So here we go. It's Buffy the Vampire Slayer Season 8, Tales of the Vampire. And this one is called The Thrill.
You're really cool. You can be anything you wanna be. Time to fly, I'm talking to you. No hablo español, see, move forward, stand your ground. Hang in there while you're doing it, and sail away into the sunset, baby. Dream your dreams into the sky. Oh yeah, you've really got it, yeah, now you've really got it, yeah, hey, you really got it, yeah. Don't stop being cool.
Alright, so The Thrill opens up and we meet Jacob, and he lives in the middle of nowhere in New Hampshire. And the title is called The Thrill, but there's absolutely nothing thrilling in this guy's life. He basically just hangs out at the arcade all night until he has to go home and go to school. Wash, rinse, repeat, right? So whatever, we catch up with him. He's like leaving the arcade. He didn't have a good time. He goes out into the parking lot, and this hot blonde asks him for a light. So keep in mind, Joss villains smoke. You can usually tell who your villains are if they're smoking cigarettes. Spike smokes, Evil Angel smokes, Faith smokes, villains smoke. So yeah, he gives her a light, he's flirting with her, whatever. This other chick comes up, and it's his friend Alex. So this dark-haired girl, Alex, is pretty much his best friend. He's got kind of a crush on her, whatever. So they all kind of talk for a minute, and then he leaves to go and talk to this character named Sebastian. So Sebastian's in his car, and he like rolls down his window, and Jacob's trying to talk to him, and basically he's like, "Oh, you're late, I just ate." So basically, yeah, he's doing the same thing that Riley was doing in Season 5 when he was going to get bitten, because it's all sexy and whatever. So, Jacob gets in the car with Sebastian, and he presumably feeds him his blood, and it's about the thrill. So he shows up at home, he's all pale because he's missing blood. His mother's really worried about him, but he's like, "Oh, it's fine, I gotta go to bed, I have school tomorrow." So he goes to bed, and when he does, he has like a sexual dream about his friend Alex being a vampire and biting him. So, okay, the next day at school, he's talking to Alex, and they talk about how they're gonna get together, whatever, they're gonna have this little date. And he's really excited about it, and it's like, oh, there's an actual thrill in his life. So after school, he goes to the arcade, he's winning again, life is good, he's excited about things, he's got this upcoming date with Alex, it's all great. Well then, as he leaves the arcade, he's approached by Sebastian and a couple of his vampire flunkies. And basically Sebastian is pissed because he was expecting a Jacob snack tonight, and Jacob didn't want to give it up. So he's like, well, I'm planning on feeding. He and the vampires, they like knock the shit out of him, beat him up, and then he's like left for dead. So then he's like dreaming about having like this sexual experience with May, and it turns out that he was having this sexual experience with May because May is a vampire and she made him vampire. Yeah, May has made him vampire and she's like, hey, you're cool. We're vampires. We do what we want. So they go to the arcade, they pick up this girl, and this girl, lets him bite her. And he's saying, it's about the thrill, but now I'm the thrill. So later on, he sees Alex, and she's like, hey, where have you been? You haven't been at school, blase, blase. And he's like, oh, I've just been busy doing some stuff, whatever, whatever. He explains that he had been beaten up by some vampires, and she's like, oh my god, are you okay? He's like, yeah, I'm fine, so whatever. He goes, and he's talking to Sebastian, and Alex is like, dude, you're fucked up. Humans aren't just food. We're like more than that. You need to treat people with respect. And so basically, she doesn't like that Jacob and Sebastian are hanging out. So Sebastian's like, hey, sorry about the other night. I was out of sorts. And Jacob's like, oh, it's all cool. And Sebastian says, oh, I see you've joined the club. He says, yep, I'm a vampire now. So Jacob hasn't been home, and when he gets home, his mother's freaking out. She was so worried, she almost called the cops, all this good stuff. And he says, hey mom, I've been turned into a vampire. So, mom has been seeing on TV that vampires are cool, they're okay, they don't kill people, they just take a little bit of blood and go on their day. So, they're not evil, soulless things, they're people too. They just have a disease, basically. His mother's like, oh, okay, well, I guess you can live in the basement and not go to school because you're a vampire and you're still my baby boy. He spends all of his time in the basement. This whole thing is like a metaphor for drugs. I don't know if it's supposed to be pot or meth or just general drugs, but the idea is that vampirism is like drugs. It just makes you into this slovenly person. One of my favorite quotes about vampires from the show is from Freshman, when Xander says, those friends who sleep all day and have no tans, that is what vampires are. They are slackers. They don't put anything into the world. They just take. So yeah, he just spends his days down there, and he basically just casually thinks about how nothing means fucking anything to him. He doesn't really feel anything. He casually considers killing his mother, and, him and May just taking over the house. He has no emotions whatsoever. So the issue comes to a head when Alex finds out that Jacob's new girlfriend is A, his girlfriend, and B, a vampire. She finds out that May is a vampire, and she's like, oh, hell no. So she starts going after May, and then she finds out that Jacob, too, is a vampire. She's like, you took Jacob away from me, blase, 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 and she pulls out a wooden stake. So it turns out that she is a vampire slayer. His best friend Alex was a slayer. So she and May tussle, and then she stakes May straight in the heart, dusts her. So then the other vampires in the area, they're like, ooh, slayer. And Jacob is like, are you kidding me? Car crashes kill more people than vampires do. She never did anything to you. And Alex is just like, she's a soulless cunt. And so Jacob is like, so basically you feel the same way about me? Are you saying that I'm an evil monster? And Alex just, you are. So he is over it. He basically just takes Alex and kills her. And then he makes her into a vampire. So this is what's at stake here, guys. This is how small town America is now. We had at the turn of the century Buffy and everybody, be the Slayer, take out, all this bullshit. And now it's totally flipped on its head. Vampires are the cool new thing. And we have killers walking among us. And we are applauding them. And this is really scary. And this Alex girl, we never see her again. I don't know if she was made vampire or not. I don't know, it being his first actual kill, if he would know how to sire someone properly. But the fact of the matter is, he takes away her choice. He says, this is my choice. And that's rape. So that's what that's about, right? And it's totally fucked up. Like I said, it's this drug metaphor. You just leave everything behind, live in the basement, have no, suntan, and, you just mooch and mooch and mooch and literally suck the life out of everyone around you. He's making his mother miserable. He killed his best friend. So that's what vampires are about, and that's why they're not cool, Harmony and the rest of America and the world. But yeah, that's pretty much all for today. Our next episode for my season 8 coverage will be taking a break and talking about everything that's gone on so far this season so that we'll be ready for the whirlwind that is the latter half. I'm Preston L. Young. I hope you're having a great 2015 so far. You can come back to the Buffington Post anytime. I've got Buffy the Vampire Slayer comic reviews, Angel and Faith comic reviews, Buffyverse discussions on the other Slayers, weekly Game of Thrones episode reviews, and my continued Buffy Season 8 coverage. Have a great day. We'll see you next time. Like, comment, share, dislike, subscribe, and as always, question. All right.
Look at these clothes, look at these clothes, look at this dough, look at this gold, look at Evo. Look at me then, look at these hoes, these bitches ain't fucking with me, killer. Look at these clothes, look at these clothes, look at this dough, look at this gold, look at Evo. Look at me then, look at these hoes, these bitches ain't fucking with me, killer. Look, yeah, gold.